We can go ahead whenever. Good evening and welcome everyone to this event that's put on by the New Ulm League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters is a local, state, and national nonpartisan volunteer group. We encourage informed and active participation of citizens in government, and we influence public policy through education and advocacy. Many of you may be familiar with our candidate forums, which are held before elections, and to which we invite candidates for each office to answer questions. All of our guests tonight, I believe, have participated in that process, which is a little bit more of a hot seat situation. Tonight, we are continuing our tradition of education for an informed electorate. We're hosting forums for elected officials from the New Ulm City Council. We will be hosting the District 88 School Board and Brown County Commissioners in 2 future events. The League of Women Voters New Ulm has decided this year to sort of increase our engagement in public education. We're living in challenging times, seeing lots of policy changes surrounding our government institutions and individual rights. We have initiated locally a campaign which we have named Empowering Voters. Tonight's event is part of this campaign, which aims to provide straightforward education to help voters stand up for democracy. In addition to these elected official forums, we are sharing information through several articles, which will be published in the New Ulm Journal. We are recording interviews of relevant individuals, which will be seen on NewCat and the city YouTube, and KNUJ is covering this and other aspects of our projects. The articles that we have completed so far are posted on our local League of New Ulm Women Voters website. And they include articles about election law, voting, due process. We have a 3-part series coming on that explains the process of absentee and mail-in voting. We're working on redistricting and gerrymandering topics as well. So for more information, go to our league website. That will include information about dates of future events. As I said, our articles are there, as well as links to other information related to the efforts we're trying to make to help educate the electorate. You can find us on Facebook and our website, www.newulm.lwv.org. So tonight, we are here with our city council. We have provided them with some questions in advance. They're kind of broad-based, but the purpose is to hear from them, kind of to let us know if there's things that they would like us to know about the work that they're doing, things that are happening at the city council. We don't plan to take questions from the audience during the event. I'm sure all of our counselors, or I know all of our counselors, are perfectly happy to talk to you if you want to contact them directly with any issues that you have. We're not using a time limit to their responses. I've let them know we're going to try and do this a little bit more casually. But we're going to give everybody an opportunity to answer all of the questions, and maybe if they want to have further discussion after they've each had a chance, we could pursue that as well. This is our first time presenting a forum like this, so we're kind of playing with the format. We'll see how it goes, and maybe the school board event will look different if this doesn't go well, so cross your fingers. All right. The first question, and I'll just ask you each to introduce yourself kind of as part of your answer to the first question. The first question is, how long have you been serving as a city council member? And share a highlight from 2025. And we're going to go right down the line, left to right, my left to right, which should be Councilor Christian first.
Good, I get to go first again.
This time.
Dave Christian, I represent Ward 1 City Council. This is my 9th year. And part of that question, how in depth do you want us to go about 25?
Well, it's 7,
All right, no, I do want, I don't want to take thunder from other councilors. They've all been involved in those issues. But the first one that gets to speak gets to touch those topics. So real quick, I'm just going to cover, and I was not lying when I walked in, 700 pages of documents that we've done in the last year. One is our comprehensive plan was adopted this year. A lot of work went into it. Economic Development Authority and Strategic Plan was recently adopted. EDA has a lot of work to do on it. Park and Recreation Master Plan is being worked on right now. A lot of work done in 2025. I just came from the open house, met with the consultants down at the arena. It was open from 4:30 to 7, I believe. A lot of good info is in this. It gives counselors like us, what do the people of New Ulm want? It was way different than I thought the outcome would be, what our taxpayers are actually looking at. And the last one, strategic plan was adopted by the city of New Ulm this year. And if anybody would like to read those 700 pages, it's available on the website. That's it. Eric, go ahead.
Very good. Got all your printed materials there.
Yes.
Well, I'm Eric Warmka. I'm Ward 2 City Council. Was elected or appointed in 2020 and then elected later on. I guess one of the bigger accomplishments I've seen in the last years past, it's our downtown. I think our downtown has had a lot of real positive momentum. If that's the city, the Chamber of Commerce, committees like the Downtown Action Team, they've just created a lot of engagement in our downtown. City staff and council, we've done a lot to aid in this change in the downtown as well, allowing more events to be held in the streets, aiding and permitting our local bars, restaurants to do more activities for our residents and visitors. I just feel like this is a massive change that our downtown, it just feels like a different place than it did 10 years ago. So I think that's one of the bigger things that I'm pretty proud of seeing happening in the last couple of years. But yeah.
Hi, my name is Andrea Betker. I've been serving as City Council President since 2020. I'm very happy to represent the city. As part of that, I also am the treasurer for Economic Development Authority, and I wanted to kind of just touch on some of the things within that strategic plan that we're looking to do as far as housing and some of the advancements and some of the programs that we have with the EDA. I am actually really proud of some of those programs, but I think that we can do a better job at promoting some of those programs. So we do have programs that are going to be changing now because we just went through some strategic planning. But we do have a Get It Ready program. So if you're somebody that's looking to sell your house to either downsize or to make some improvements, there's a very low interest loan available through EDA that you can do to kind of, I guess, make some of those improvements to your home before you leave your home. And then if you have any kind of multifamily housing, so anybody that has any rentals, we have some programs to use to do that, because it's very important to me that we're kind of keeping up with maintaining the great homes that we have. We get so many compliments from people that come and visit our community that say it kind of looks like a picture book, and I definitely agree, and that no two houses look the same. So happy with some of the things that the EDA is doing there. And then from a council perspective, it's been a long time coming, but a lot of the housing that we have been seeking is coming to fruition. So we're doing new things like tiny homes and barn dominiums and market rate apartments. And so I feel like this was a wheel that was just kind of stuck in the mud a little bit. And we've been doing a lot to get that going as well. So I will say that I have some kind of hesitations on some of those things that we're doing and trying, but I really am supportive because I want to see how everything works out, because it's housing that we need. And I say we give the people what they want, as long as it's within reason, right? Thanks. Yes, Mayor.
Mayor Backer.
Mayor.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Backer, the mayor of the city of New Ulm, and I've just started my 4th year in that role. And one of the things when I ran for mayor was to expand the logo that a lot of cities use. And the logo that's used by many cities is a great place to live, work, and play. Well, I see invest as being a 4th word that we want to add to that, because if we don't have new investment and reinvestment, we're not going to have a place to work and to play. And so to me, when you have new investment, you're supporting your tax base as well and providing opportunities for the city. So as Council President Betker mentioned, we have a significant amount of interest in the city in a development of our housing. We had a deficit of about 400 houses, is what the study had said. And for us to have, and according to Dave Schnobrick, who some of you might know is on staff with the city of New Ulm for several decades, and he reported at a city council meeting that he has never seen as much interest at one time in the city of New Ulm as we have now. And we have 5 projects where we're having investors coming in and working with the city. Now, the other piece that's always unsaid is New Ulm is those Germans, those conservative, difficult Germans. No, we are working with our developers and making a real effort to not only stay out of their way, but to encourage that development. So when I stay out of the way, the leadership here, the council, has taken up different requests to change zoning to accommodate the tiny houses, to allow the houses to happen in what was an industrial park, to have the keeper development of fair market value housing in a neighborhood where it's like not in my neighborhood. And we understand that and appreciate it, but we have to look at the bigger picture. And so I applaud the city council for making those decisions that has now allowed those, all of those projects to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Burgermeister. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the New Ulm League of Women Voters for this forum. So thank you very much for putting this together. Next, my name is Tom Schmitz, and I'm beginning my 2nd year with the City Council. I was elected early in November of 24. Last year in 25 was my first year of a 4-year term representing Ward 3. And I like to point out that the wards are basically in quadrants. Ward 3 is northwest. We'll call it northwestern New Ulm. So that's a little bit about my background. My employment career spanned 45 years. 42 of those years were in the public sector with national parks, state parks, county parks, and city parks. And then the 3 private sector years were with the Boy Scouts. So I'm passionate about recreation, parks, and outdoor activities and trails. The highlight, I think, of 2025, we've hit it pretty hard here already, but I'm going to have to say housing, especially since many of those projects are in the northwest quadrant of Ward 3. And I'll just point them out again a little bit here. We've got North Highland, just north of the Kids XL Center, North Highland. Upper Maplewood is in the works. The barn-dominiums, as the president mentioned, are behind Walmart coming. And then, of course, the contractors just broke ground on North Garden Street for Garden Terrace 3. So much of the new housing opportunities are in the northwest quadrant of Ward 3. And my opinion of that, again, is diversity and inclusion for all different types of housing. You know, there's not just one type of housing that fits everyone. So I think it's important to have a diverse array of housing for a successful community. Thank you.
Okay, housing and strategic plans. Good job. All right. Question number 2. What issues concern you the most going forward from now? And we'll start with Councilor Warmka.
Sure. Well, clearly, housing we're starting to hit, but there's still way more to go. I mean, there's still a need to sustain or to fulfill actual affordable housing. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Others can talk on this more. But another concern I have is growth and infrastructure. We're a strong community. But we feel the same pressures that a lot of small cities. Our roads, our utilities, our giant Herman monuments, our public facilities, they're all aging. And the cost of this keeps rising. I mean, that's going to be a major issue if we don't stay on top of it. We need to keep up with not only the growth of the community, things that Councilor Schmitz was talking about, new development, but maintaining what we have too, without these becoming a bigger issue down the road. I mean, those are things that we, as council, we see. With engineering that we have as city staff, they keep us up to date with these things, but it is hard. I mean, it's an older community, and we have older facilities, and to keep up with that, it does cost money. But we need to keep up with that as well, amongst the new growth that we love seeing too. So that's where I'll leave it at that.
We'll just go ahead with President Betcher.
And so, okay, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but going back to housing here, so one of the most concerning issues that I see potentially affecting our community and many other rural communities is the aptly named like Yes to Housing bill. So if this is something that you are not following, I definitely encourage you to do so. And this is essentially, it keeps morphing and morphing, and it's kind of like a bad penny. It doesn't pass, and every year it keeps coming back. And, you know, I just had a nice conversation with City Manager Dalton that it's going to be one of the top things in the session again. But essentially, it's taking away the ability of our local governments, our planning, our zoning to make their own decisions in regards to industrial, residential, commercial zoning. It would essentially allow businesses or companies or individuals to come in and buy a plot of land in your neighborhood and build a fourplex on it. And the as it sits today, they're looking to be able to do that up to 33% of kind of that residential area. And so we're taking a look at what we need to do. But I don't agree with the fact that what is good for some of the communities in the metro area where they don't have as much land and ability to expand are a good fit for us here in rural Minnesota. I think that our planning and zoning staff here and beyond do a very excellent job of, you know, maintaining districts. The changes to that need to come before the council, so we have the ability to say something and have that local control. And I just I don't feel like it would be a good thing for our community. So it's something I'm watching closely, and I definitely encourage you guys to just take a peek at that too, and what that could mean for our neighborhoods and how we would be restricted.
Mayor Backer.
Going forward, I think, at least for me, having attended our state and national forums that we're a part of, and we've got leadership of some of our local elected officials and staff sit on, as an example, the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. And my concern going forward is keeping not only the control and decision-making, but the money coming to Greater Minnesota. We have to revisit those equity and make sure there's equity in those allocations. I'll just use one example, and that's long-term care and how the delayed payments of those services, I think there's a 22-month delay. So whatever they're receiving this year, 2026, is basically looking back at what their expenses were in 2024. And so where's the equity in that? Plus, you know, when we look at our infrastructure, are we getting our fair share of the funding to support our roads and our bridges and the ditches and all of those other improvements? And I believe that we need to continue to have our membership in this coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, because that looks at us. Yes, we also belong to the Minnesota League of Cities, but that means all of the cities. And I like it when we can separate ourselves and talk honestly about what our real concerns are for rural and outstate Minnesota. So if I were to sum it up, I would say that we need to continue to lobby to make sure that we get our fair share and more, and help define what fair share means going forward. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So what I kind of view as some of the opportunities moving forward, for me, number one is sustainability and maintaining sustainability and reasonable growth for our community in many different areas, speaking economically from the private sector, industrial users, industrial employers, the commercial employers, and the retail employers. I think it's important for us to really focus on maintaining and growing at a reasonable growth rate the economic aspects of our community. And also population-wise. I was very happy to see our population bump over 14,000 recently. Financially, I think I'm a fiscal conservative, and I think it's important to balance the books. I think, I think the city has a long record of, financial stability and great financial management. And I think it's very important for us to continue that into the future, so we don't burden our descendants. Maintaining and improving our infrastructure. I also feel very strongly about maintenance. We've got lots of roads and bridges, utilities, building and facility infrastructure. And I think it's critical and key that we maintain those in a high level of maintenance for not only our residents, but also our visitors. Thank you.
Councillor Christian?
I'm just thinking out loud, okay, touch that. I do want to comment on Andrea's comment on our legislators with this zoning issue, the 33%. I'm going to compare that to, like, I'm in Ward 1, one of the older parts of the city, the bottom half of Mr. Warmka's oldest part of the city. I call it hodgepodge. We have got industrial right next to the residential house, the apartment building across from the trucking firm. Those types of things don't work. I get complaints all the time. Diesel trucks are running all night. It's a permitted use. All those items were taken care of before 1969 when we did a zoning ordinance. If legislation does pass this and we lose that control, in my mind, we're going backwards. You're just going to let the developer do nilly-willy. I want to put the gas station here, convenience store there, 4-story apartment next to it. It doesn't work. That's one of the bigger issues. One of my big sticklers is, you said, what do you worry about? I despise unfunded mandates. When the federal government hands those down to us, one of the items, I agree with it, the Parental Leave Act. None of our taxpayers know that we had to put aside 0.5% of your levy just to fund that. No money came down the pipe for that. Where does it come from? 0.5% came out of the tax levy. I mean, like you understand, like ADA, I get it. I mean, it's real, it needs to be done. If you don't do this, we'll hold back your capital improvement money. So we're forced to spend the money, update the sidewalks, update our buildings, facilities. It all costs money. And we all know in today's world, it's 100% what it was 20 years ago. And that's a real number. But those are two of the items. And a little bit like Councilor Schmidt said, our infrastructure, New Ulm is full of 75 to 100-year-old sewer lines and water lines. It's full of it. How do you keep up in today's market? I think we do 12 blocks a year we try to fund for, reconstruct a new sanitary, whatnot. That's not keeping up with pace with the older part of our city. Where's the money going to come from? Anybody would like to make donations? You can leave it on the way out. All right.
Well, you touched a little bit on sort of the topic of the next question, which is how are the decisions that are being made at the state and federal level affecting the city? And of course, many people right now are on edge because we have a lot of federal presence in the state enforcing immigration. And, I don't know whether that has an impact on the city council or not, but this would be the time to talk about it if you've had a chance to think about it. And we will start with President Becker.
Okay. I love Minnesota. It's a great place to live. When you look at kind of the rankings of different things, I mean, we score very highly in education. We score very high in health outcomes and longevity. We score, I think Minnesota has one of the highest average credit scores in the nation. I think we're in the top 2. These are things that we really need to be proud of. We have a lot of nature. We have great quality of life. But again, we also have a lot of taxes. And I am like, okay, I think taxes are patriotic. I want to pay my fair share of taxes. I'm more than happy to pay my fair share if it means that somebody that's struggling doesn't have to pay as much. So when it comes to taxes, I'm not saying I don't want to pay my taxes. I know what they go for, but I just feel like it is getting out of hand. Everybody wants, I feel like Oprah, like you get a tax and you get a tax. You order your DoorDash and you get this tax and you have the different gas taxes and you have, and all of these programs, I'm a true believer, and I do represent local government aid and taxation on the board of directors for the League of Minnesota Cities. And so I do believe in the local option sales tax, giving, cities that option to do. But there's so many programs, like even now, like I have an example, like my business is trying to work with the Office of Cannabis Management to sell beverages, and they did not have a recording of our phone call or any of our paperwork or anything. And I'm like, what is going on? I feel like we're pushing all these things through, and we're not thinking about it. And it just seems a little organized right now. And I think we need to just take a pause and be like, okay, we understand that this tax is for this and this tax is for that, but do we need so many? Is there a way to consolidate, or just better use the money that we're collecting in sales tax and other taxes and PFML taxes? Like Dave was saying, a 0.5% of our levy, that's 0.44%. Well, 0.44%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. That's on the burden of the worker as well, And so I appreciate what we're trying to do, and I want to have that quality of living. I want to be able to say we're the happiest country or the happiest state in the world. But right now, like it's becoming really complicated, and I don't like it.
Okay. Mayor Backer, concerns about decisions made at the state and federal level.
Well, I'm going to touch on 4 things. I believe that the tariffs are impacting local and the way in which people go about their business on a daily basis. And much more on everybody's minds right now is ICE. And certainly they have a right and the responsibility to conduct their business. But what has happened in the state of Minnesota, it's been turned upside down. And there's a lot of emotions that are running with that. But I want you to know that in my conversations, and I'm going to call out a shout out to our police chief, Chief Borkert is on top of things. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's in daily conversations with law enforcement at every level of the state. They have conversations about ICE, and they understand and clarify their roles and responsibilities, but they have those updates. So that is being addressed, and that's more timely. That's not like a long-term issue, perhaps. But those are the 2 things at the federal level. At the state level, and this is backing up and going backwards, but we did have a $17 billion, let's say, money in the bank or a surplus. And I was disappointed in the decision-making at the state level not to look at that and maybe do a set-aside, a certain percentage, 40%, 20%, but it was almost like we have a present here, let's spend it and open it all up and use it all up before my brother or sister gets a chance to do it. And I don't want to make light of the matter, but it was very disappointing to have us be at a $17 billion surplus and then to be go the other way. And certainly that impacts our local governments as well. And then the other thing that more recently that was put in place, and again, President Bedker talked about it, and that's the family leave program. The 20 weeks that are being allowed, certainly I'm in favor and supportive of leave for employees. My concern about it is how does it roll out, maybe at the more sophisticated level of a city government and a county government. It may roll out much better than it's going to be for some of our individual businesses. Our local independent business owners, how do they work through all of that and figure it out and to make sure they're in compliance on January 1st? And I think it's been difficult, if not a real challenge. So those are the 4 things that I look at as concerns at the state and federal level.
Councilor Smith.
Okay, thank you very much. So a couple of things I think about from the state level that greatly affect us here in our municipalities and in New Ulm. Number 1 would be local government aid. About 1/3 of our budget is local government aid coming to the city from the state. And those numbers do change from time to time, from year to year, biennium to biennium. But that's a big chunk of our, local budget. Another third is property taxes, local property taxes, and another third, is fees and so on. But I think local government aid is a big topic that we want to continue to keep in front of the legislature, in fairness for greater Minnesota also in comparison with the communities in the Metropolitan Council and the metropolitan areas. The second one is mandates. I think we've talked about that. I think there's some great mandates, but it could be that not all of the mandates are, really beneficial to us here in New Ulm. Those are a couple of thoughts on the state level. Federally, I would simply say that currently, the current administration's decisions, to me are a radical deviation from normal stability. And I think it's hard for municipalities, including New Ulm, to plan and react in certain areas with our current federal administration and the, decisions that they're making. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Christian.
As I go, I got to be first, but now I'm last.
You were last time.
One comment I do want to make, though, as they were going around the room about those issues, I get to talk to a lot of people. I know a lot of people in New Ulm, and they start complaining about city government. We get to hear everything, city taxes, whatnot. And in my mind, how I stop them, tell me about the state government. How do you feel? And I get well, yeah, it's screwed up. Okay, but we're doing all right. Then you get them to the federal level, and then they start to chuckle and laugh, that I won't even say the words that they use. And yet, we get to hear it as a small municipality, city government. We're doing fine. I have a big problem. A lot of us councilors and the mayor, we attend the League of Minnesota Cities meetings with the legislators. Believe it or not, the governor actually showed up last year to the league meeting. Normally he doesn't. We're going down this year to the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, see what our legislators have to say. It's kind of a two-part piece with the local government aid. Legislative kind of recommends or dictates to us what we should keep in our rainy day fund. Our slush fund, practice what you preach. $17 billion to me is a lot of money. They recommend to us to keep between, 40 and 50% of our operating budget, our annual $24 million budget in the bank. It's in our bank. It's there if we need it. It's one of those practice what you preach. They don't have to, but we're going to put this rule onto you. Goes down the pipe. We don't have to play by those rules, but you do. That's the kind of stuff that's frustrating to us. Mandate to us, but we don't have to play by the rules. Further up the ladder you go, we all know they don't play by the rules anyway. That's one of the most frustrating things to me when you attend these league meetings and whatnot.
Okay.
Just kind of tying it all together, like you said. The state and federal decisions do affect us more than we all realize. These mandates come without funding, which means we have to come up with it. These changes in labor laws like paid family medical leave, environmental regulations, transportation funding, they all have real impacts on our budget. As a member of the Transportation Committee, we've been working for 2 years that we were getting electric buses were coming our way to be a trial run of Minnesota. How can we keep up with electric buses? We were going to get them given to us. We were working on where we're going to keep them, shelter them. All of a sudden last year, it all went away. Now we have to come up with new concepts, new ideas. Now we're looking at propane because that's something that we can get and work with. So it's frustrating. Those little things like that. One administrative change, everything goes out the window of years of work. That was a little maddening in my opinion, but state and federal decisions impact us, impact how New Ulm operates. Local government aid is the best example of that. LGA pays for our core services, public safety, our streets, our parks, keeps our property taxes in check too. When it's predictable, we can plan responsibly. When it's uncertain like it has been the last couple of years, it makes challenges for our budgeting. But on the positive side, these state and federal grants and aid, they play a huge role in our major projects that we can't afford just on our own. The challenge for the city is to stay engaged, all of us. Like we said, we need to keep advocating. We need to keep going to these meetings, being in front of the right people, and we are doing those things. But that's what's going to get us noticed, recognized, and keep making the things that make New Ulm, not always looking at the Twin Cities. So. One more for Christian.
I forgot one thing. No, I mean, when these rules come down, right? I'm going to go back to the parental leave. The HR director called me. Dave, you need to come up to the office to sign some papers. You know, what's up? I had to sign the papers that they dock my elected official wage. I didn't know that I'm eligible to take those 20 weeks off.
Ooh.
But it was like, you know, a blanket policy came. Nobody looked that close at it. Any elected official in the state of Minnesota, hell, I'm going to Florida for 20 weeks. I got a sick grandparent down there. But I mean, I was appalled at that. Really? An elected official can do it? Yeah, I can. Again, you wanted to know about some ridiculous rules. There are a lot of them.
Right, this is a little bit more of a hopeful question. In fact, hope is even in the question. As to the future, what are you excited about and what do you hope to accomplish? Now, this one kind of city council related, you know, not your vacation to Florida. You know, that would be hopeful. But as a council member, what are you looking for and what are you excited about? Let's see, Mayor Backer is first.
Yay. I'm so hopeful. First of all, in light of the fraud in the state of Minnesota, I've been getting questions about how is that impacting New Ulm? Well, New Ulm is special in that we have several things in place like the half-cent sales tax. That revenue is coming in ahead of what we had anticipated or projected, so that's a good thing. The lodging tax, you might read about the fact that tourism is down in the state of Minnesota. Oh, but not in New Ulm. This is positive. So we've got some good things going on. We're seeing the investment in our housing opportunities and looking like, not that that's all buttoned up and done, but we're getting more and more attention and more momentum. We're a destination for investors. We're a destination for people wanting to move into New Ulm if only there was housing. We are looking at, you've got the tourism, you've got people wanting to move here, you've got the investment of outsiders. And so what I'm most excited about is that going to continue to snowball in the positive direction for us? Because we've waited a long time, folks. We're not that stuffy, conservative, difficult to work with community. We are the utopia. Yes, David, we are.
Okay.
We go back and forth. But anyway, I'm just proud to be affiliated with the city of New Ulm and to be able to be your mayor. And I'm very excited about the future with what we have seen in the most recent year or two and gradually gaining that momentum. And my hope is that we can keep it going.
Thank you, Mayor. Why am I excited? Well, first of all, I'm an optimist, way more of an optimist than a pessimist. I think that's important for, a progressive community and a sustainable community. I'm excited about maintaining, sustaining, and improving our extremely high quality of life for not only residents, but also visitors. The mayor just mentioned a lot of our pluses that we have, for visitors and outsiders, but, our residents really get to enjoy that also. And just a few short years down the road, I think we'll be planning for Renew 3 and some greater improvements for our for recreation involved with our residents and visitors. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Christian.
I've been sitting on the Park and Rec Commission now. I don't know how many years have I been on there. One of the things I always asked for was this master plan. What do the citizens of New Ulm want? The draft is out. I've read that. I'm really waiting for the information now from what people want. If you all get a chance to go on and look at it, you'll be shocked at what I was shocked. Like, oh, they're not asking for new parks. They're asking for the programs that fix up the buildings and whatnot. And I'm really looking forward to the 2 to 3 year plan, the 3 to 5 year plan. We've never had that before. How long's it been, Tom? 20, 25 years.
Yeah, I think the last master plan was completed in the 80s.
Right. Otherwise, it was dealt with on a yearly basis. We need to budget this. I'm excited about that part. Also, the economic development, I've only been on now 1 year. I'm very familiar with how the EDA works. I'm kind of excited about that, how we're going to change policy, procedure, and what we're going to do with it. And one other item, I'm really happy, been involved with Garden Terrace 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever category you want to put it in. If any of you noticed now, the campus is going to get completed. They started digging this week. And a lot of staff time was put into that. Myself, the mayor, was there any other councilors went with to Iowa? We actually went down and toured a facility like that where you can move into the residence. You can take care of yourself, do everything you want. They cut your grass. You can do everything else yourself. Right across the lawn, now I need some help. Not severe help, but I need some help. Okay, now it's to the point, my meal's got to be prepared. I need help cleaning my house. They'll be able to do it in one campus. I mean, let's face it, the younger people aren't looking at it. Someday, half this room might be out there. That's reality. I mean, it's reality. I am super glad they're doing it. I'm glad EDA tossed it around, give them that startup funding. I mean, we'll still own half the facility. I mean, that's how it works in the banking world. But those are the three things I'm really looking forward to.
All right. I guess going back to my very first answer, I'm excited about the momentum New Ulm has right now. We have a lot of strong local businesses, engaged nonprofits. We have developers who want to be building here. We have a council that works together very well. I mean, we go to these meetings, these league meetings, Greater Coalition, and you talk to some of these other cities and their councilors, and you hear about how the city manager doesn't get along with the engineer doesn't get along with the council, whatever it might be. We listen, we talk to each other. It's kind of a very positive thing to be a part of. I do want to keep seeing our downtown continue to grow and our businesses to continue to succeed. The city can help and has helped with this growth and continues with this with grants, helping with low interest loans, tax abatement when it makes sense. We want this momentum to continue and continue what's happening. There's a lot of collaboration that's making this, and that's just something it doesn't just pop up overnight. That isn't something that can be manufactured. But what I hope to accomplish is steady, responsible progress. Investing in that infrastructure, supporting housing, keeping New Ulm financially stable while preserving what makes us New Ulm. I want it to be a place that, young families can put down roots, older generations can age comfortably, and a future generation can recognize as their home. That's what I got.
Amen.
Why do I have to follow that?
Sorry, Andrea.
That's okay. I'm most excited about where our community is going, and I'm just going to build on what Eric said. I mean, we have completed that Highway 14 expansion now, and that is something that is not like I don't want to say tooting our horns because it took 40 years, 60, but that's something that is a draw, and that's something that will help, and that's something that will draw people that maybe live in Mankato to New Ulm because of the ease to go back and forth to that area. Increased housing options, again, giving the people what they want. I mean, a tiny home might not be great for me right now, but there's clearly a demand for it. The same thing with the houses or the barn dominiums. If you're a snowbird and you're up here during the summer and you want somewhere to stay and you want something affordable, that makes sense. And it's freeing up homes for new families, which is helping our economy. More downtown growth, like Eric said, we've kind of taken the cuffs off a little bit and allowed our downtown events to take place without incident, I should say. Think about it. We've added the turf, and we've done spiking in the streets, and we've done bagging in the streets. And, these are things that are drawing people to our communities and are unique and that I think that we should keep doing. the demand and some of the things that we uncovered as part of the strategic planning and comprehensive conversations is we want more than just beer festivals. Well, I mean, I'm okay with beer festivals, too, but I mean, that gives you an opportunity to really expand to say, we are a great place to live, visit, work, and invest, Mayor. I'm catching that. And then we also have a booming local economy. I mean, we have great manufacturing. We have 3 different educational systems here. We have great healthcare, and then we have our tourism. So, we're really a community that has it all. And one of the comments that kind of stuck out from when we were going through kind of our EDA evaluations with this company called Better City that is helping us, that New Ulm, for its size per capita, punches so far above its weight class. I mean, we have arts and cultural facilities, and we have, I look at like the MLC Fieldhouse and what we've been able to do through our community investing in itself and voting for things that support our economic development and growth, such as the local option sales tax. I mean, think about that, and that's, like the mayor said, we're moving away from that kind of like, super conservative German community, but we're saying yes to things, and look at what's happening.
That's everybody. Okay. All right, so here's a bonus question. Share something about your role as city councilor that your constituents might not be aware of.
Are you looking at me, Mayor? Am I next? Okay.
Well, you never got to go first.
I'll go.
Here's your chance.
I'll go. I think that some constituents and residents might not fully understand what the various responsibilities are of a city council member. Obviously, we have the 2 regular meetings a month on the first and third Tuesdays. But also, we are all assigned to other various boards and commissions. And I think it's important for residents and constituents to realize that. Councilor Christian talked about one of his extra responsibilities is the Park and Recreation Commission. 2 extra responsibilities I have are the Heritage Preservation Commission and the Cable Communication Advisory Board. I'm the city council representative on those 2 boards and commissions. And everyone else here has additional responsibilities besides the 2 regular meetings a month for the council. Thank you.
Now, wait a minute. That ain't telling me something I don't know about you.
I don't think, the
I'll
question
know that
is
in this
about,
room.
the question is about the elected position that your constituents might not know.
You're right, and I feel like we had a draft that was going to be just so like if you have the biggest Beanie Baby collection, if you want to share that instead, I guess, go ahead.
Still didn't answer the question. I'm going to kind of go along with Tom, though. A lot of people don't realize the time councils do put in. I mean, my next 3 days, I went to the park meeting at 4, went down to the consultant at the arena, came here at 7 o'clock. I have EDA tomorrow morning, and the mayor and I are doing, is it the Youth Network New Ulm on Wednesday morning? Oh, yeah. So that's the 3 days. I mean, it's a lot of time and effort put into it, behind the scenes. Is Ruth Ann here? I remember meeting with Ruth Ann when I thought about running for it, and I never forgave her. She lied to me. About the time and effort, but I know she...
It's fun though.
Yeah. But she's right. I mean, how much time do you want to put into it? Do you want to know what's going on in your city? Put your time in, and you do know. Go out and talk to the general public. I mean, put your time in. I still enjoy it. There's one person talked me into doing one more term. I always said I'd only do term. We'll think long and hard about that next after this term is over. But and I did try to think. Councilor Schmitz avoided it. Something that none of you councilors know about. I served in the military, and I actually got out of it. I was going to sign up and do another tour, and somehow decided I don't want to do this SHIT again. I'm done. I had a full bird colonel back me and got rid of the paperwork, and that's how I got back to New Ulm. Nobody.
Nope.
There's only 2 other people know that.
Well, not.
Now there. Now you have something you never knew.
All right, Councilor Warmka.
something you don't know about me? Well, as they've all stated, I mean, my coworkers laugh at me every time when I leave work of, you must just hate free time or time off, because it's a commitment. But one absolutely crazy thing that happened to me this last year, and I when I joined council, I didn't have an agenda. I don't have a political agenda. I don't lean one way or the other. If it makes sense, carry on. If it doesn't, let's find a way to stop it. But I live in a ward that has some problems. We have some blight, we have some lawn problems, people that don't cut their lawn properly, little things like that. There was one couple, very nice, came into my work and said, Bavarian Blast is this week. The city hasn't cut this lawn in over a month. Is there anything that can be done? I went and cut that person's lawn. It was, I am not kidding, just under 3 feet tall. Cut it, bagged it, got rid of it. The rest of the summer, she cut that lawn perfectly. So it was one little thing that I went, you know what? That took an afternoon of my life. Never going to get it back, but you know what? That mattered to that couple that came in to complain that said, I just want our town to look the way it's supposed to look. And that meant a ton to me to see that when I went through that parade the next day. So, yeah. Sorry.
And I get to follow that. Thanks, Eric. So something that, yeah, I mean, we've gone through some of the other responsibilities that, you know, we have as part of council, and that should be expected. But maybe something that a lot of people don't know is why I actually ran in the first place. I ran for Ward 4 City Councilor. Councilor Mack's not with us tonight. But I ran for Ward 4 City Council because it was back in like 2017 or 18. I was reading the New Ulm Journal and I saw kind of a call that the mayor had put out for open committees and commissions. And I thought, okay, here I go. And I went on the internet and I looked at all the committees and commissions and I thought, where is I as a citizen who's not from New Ulm, I'm an Auslander with a New Ulm name, you know, where can I add value? And I found two things that I thought that obviously the Sister Cities Commission, because I have a big background with speaking German. And then I thought maybe human rights. And I emailed the mayor at the time and I said, you know, my name is Andrea Betker and here are my qualifications. And, you know, I'd be happy to like meet with you and talk about ways that I think that I could add value to these committees and commissions. And then I got an email back saying that the mayor will be in touch with you soon. And then a couple weeks later, I read the paper, and no offense, I mean, I'm looking around the room here, but it was a bunch of old white guys still appointed in those positions, and I wasn't even responded to. And I'm like, you know what? I think that I have something more that I can offer. I may not be from New Ulm, but I'm really growing to like this town, even though Target closed. And you know, and so I ran and I worked really hard. And the night of my first election, I had gotten a call from the New Ulm Journal saying that I had won. I had won by 17 votes. And so I popped champagne and I gave a quote to the Journal, and it was, you know, I was calling my family back home in Pennsylvania. And then it was about 15 minutes later, I got a call back from the Journal saying, all right, yes, we do know it says 2 of 2 reporting and everything, but there were some absentee ballots and mail-in ballots that were not accounted for in that total. And they said, you probably won't know anything till tomorrow. But I knew what that meant. I went to bed and I got up in the morning and I ended up losing by 10 votes, which was 6 people. And so when people say, you know, you want to lesson on democracy, vote, encourage people to vote, make sure they have a choice. Every vote matters. And that was hard. I cried for like a little bit in the morning and then I went to work in the afternoon because I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? And then it wasn't a week later, I was out with a friend of mine that I wasn't expecting, kind of a business owner. And they said to me, you know what? Well, now you're ready to run for city council president. And I'm like, I can't even win my own ward. How am I going to win over a city? You know, but through encouragement and just conversations, like we need new leadership, we need new voices. I thought that you ran your campaign very well. You have a lot to offer, and so I did. I ran again, and it just so happened that I was running against the same person again, and the incumbent. And you know, in the primary that we had, the incumbent had actually lost the primary, which is unusual. And so we kind of went head to head again. And again, I worked really hard, and I will say that we all work well together as a council. But I believe I was able to kind of get that message out there, and then I did win by more than 10 votes this time. So, so that's just kind of a story that people don't know, but just because something stings like that, and things don't always go your way, it doesn't mean that you don't have value that you can add. And I think that being on the council is one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had, because it's given me an opportunity not to just be able to be a voice and represent people in the city of New Ulm, but it's opened doors with Region 9 Development Commission. That's a 9-county kind of governmental layer that it's hard to explain. I don't know. I've been on the board, and I'll be the vice chair, and I'm still trying. And then with the League of Minnesota Cities, or with the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, I represent LGA and taxation. And so I'm seeing more of, what we can do. And I'm proud to serve every day, and I really love what I do. And I know that was really long. Sorry, Mayor, but I'm passing it over.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think what you do know about me is I shake hands and I cut ribbons. But there's a whole lot more. One of the things you may know a little bit about is we have, let's say, 15 commissions on the city, and I have the honor and the responsibility of finding individuals to serve on those commissions. And what I like about this is to contact people and ask them. First of all, remember to ask them if they live in the city limits. And they might think they do. And then when you get more serious, ask them again, not a New Ulm address, city limits. And but in that process, I have gotten to meet many different individuals, and I have to share with you how my heart just hurts when I hear somebody say to me, "But I can serve. I don't own my place. I just rent." Or I don't have the social status of somebody else. That isn't what this is all about. And I love the fact that you can visit with somebody and not only help boost their self-esteem, inform them about the city. And the more diversity that we get sitting on those commissions, the more people will learn about how our government works, how our city works, and what our city gives back to them. So that is something that I have to say I love to do. I start in June, and I don't appoint people. Now, I don't do the final. The Ober, Eber, all of these yes and no people on either side of me make the final confirmation of those appointments. But there's something else that I do, and then it says something about your elected position that you might not know. I am the weed inspector.
Speak up, Mayor, speak up. We didn't hear that.
I didn't know this either. And last spring, we had a person very interested in controlling noxious weeds in the city of New Ulm. And I came in with information that I, the mayor of the city of New Ulm, and the noxious weed inspector. What?
New nameplate there, should we add that? Mayor Backer and Noxious Weed.
Yes.
Okay.
I took this off the Brown County site, and it says the local weed inspectors are the mayors in the cities, the supervisors of the township boards. So, however, with the assistance of the city manager, you are able to designate that responsibility to a staff person. But I learned a lot about noxious weeds, and I was so concerned I'd go to jail. I already was going to talk to the chief of police about an exception, but then ignorance is not an excuse. So that is something that I did not know when I ran for mayor of the city of New Ulm. How many of you in the audience knew that? Aha!
Robert.
Yes, because he was one of the wonderful individuals that was able to come in, and now we're all organized. We know that we're having letters go out after the first of the year, because again, I do not want to go to jail. But that is something that I did not know, and I'm assuming you did not know.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good job. We appreciate hearing from you. As I said earlier, we have two more candidate election, we're calling them elected official forums. The next one is scheduled. It's with the school board. It will be here in city council chambers, and that is on February 9th. We don't have a date yet for our county commissioners, so watch for that. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you to the candidates. And thank you to the Journal and NewCat and KNUJ. Good night.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for the great turnout. I've been meaning to say that. Thank you.
Oh, certainly. Do you want us?